Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is Dragon Skies, and today we are going to be doing some game design. So, this is one of our two weekly streams. We are active on Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard, and we are actively designing a game called The Game is Afoot, which is a Unity game which takes inspirations from RPG games like Paper Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Undertale, and similar. And yeah, it's just a quirky, fun game that me and some friends are putting together, and I figured it might be fun to stream it out and share a little bit of it with you guys. So that's what we're going to be doing today. A little bit of game design, a little bit of conversation, and some shenanigans on the side. So feel free to hang out and yeah, enjoy yourselves. So today the plan is pretty simple. We've done a lot of work here inside of our overworld, and it's all looking pretty good. We could move around. We could take a look over at these objects. They have colliders. They look like they're taking up world space. Um, and this is our first location. It's a manor. And we have also some cutscenes, which is a fairly simple. We're not looking for anything too crazy, just something that allows us to use custom animations and display some dialogue flavor text. So that's all good. We also have combats, but today we're going to be reworking this combat screen a little bit to match the theme of our game a little bit more. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to show you guys really quickly what exactly I mean by revamping our combat area. If I go into our Dropbox here that I have for the game, we have some art that was recently done by one of our artists, Abs. She's extremely cool. I should totally link her in our videos from here on out, but I think I will. In here in buildings, I believe that in the buildings, maybe not in the buildings. Oh, we have the fences ready. Let's go. Dudes. The point is we have a ton of cool art that's coming out. And I'm really excited to get it all in here. But for now, the priority is the combat area. So, wait, actually, not the combat area because we don't have that art finished. Ruffian, hello. This is, what's up? Nothing much, actually. Just a lot of crazy life stuff mixed with a little bit of fun game design. So, but today we're working on just a little bit of the combat system and also a little bit of our external design stuff because we got a bunch of art in recently for the external parts of the manor. Specifically, we're thinking about making some fence posts, which are actually held in our art folder down here. Now, if I... Right here, yeah. But yeah, really not much, though. Today's just kind of like a fun additions thing, mixed with a little bit of serious work on the combat system, which I really need to focus more on, I'm realizing. That's kind of the main appeal of this game. It's kind of like referencing games like Paper Mario and whatever, with just like a fun, like, simple combat thing going on. But like, I've been so focused on getting the rest of the world ready that not much has actually been happening as a result, so, in the combat area. Now, I'm a little bit confused because we're not actually able to import our fences for some reason. Unity is being gimmicky again, guys. I blame the moose. Every single time it's that gosh darn moose trying to mess with me. I don't know what's up with this because it's a PNG image. It should be importing just fine. Yeah, no, I'm not exactly sure. There we go. There we go. It's importing now. I don't know what I did differently, but if it works, guys. That's my motto when it comes to Unity. Don't ask how it happened, just be happy with the results. It looks like it imported that twice, so we're going to have to remove one of them. That's fine. So these are going to be external fence posts because start of the game is going to be kind of deadlocked. We're not really supposed to be able to get out of the area at this point. And there'll be more open world as you go on, but like for the very beginning, like you're a detective hired to find a gem that is lost in this area. So having the game be open world at this point would be first off painful, second off kind of defeat the purpose of the intro. Of course, that's a little concerning in some degrees because people don't really like it as much, I guess, when they're forced into a contained space, but not exactly sure if the alternative makes any sense because as I've learned from playing a little bit of D&D now and then, if the player can break all the rules, they will break all the rules, unfortunately. Okay, but focusing on the design here, we're going to make a 2D object, square, and name this fence. And what I'm going to try and do is make this into a special type of game object. So when it comes to our tile map system, this is functionally basically just like, if you guys have ever played like Super Mario Maker, functionally that's what we programmed this to be. I could drag and drop and then they'll lock together, which is insanely cool. You could demonstrate that with this. I want to do something similar with a larger object that doesn't take up one tile, and in order to do that, I actually have to prep it as a game object first. So we're going to do that. It's fairly simple. I wouldn't worry too much about. So first thing I'm going to do, set it to 32 pixels per unit because that's our pixel ratio throughout the game. And then get it all imported correctly. This is all the boring stuff that you have to learn how to do in order to do pixel art in Unity. For some reason, Unity doesn't like it if you just use the pictures as they are. You have to like go through all the steps in order to make it work. I think it's a little bit dumb, but at the same time, like, this degree of quality, I guess, is worth it. It's very much worth it. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And we're going to apply the changes. Okay, and these both are imported correctly, so if I put this into the fence, it will then size correctly. But there is a problem. It kind of like goes up in a way. If you could see, so like, let's just say I lock this to 2 negative. Well, actually, let's go. I want it to be aligned with the grid here. If I put it here, right, this fence object lines with the grid right now, but if I put this in, it kind of like steeps up for some reason. So one thing I can do, I can move the pivot point to be like half a tile up. I don't know if I want to do that. That's just a lot of math. I don't like math. I'm on break, guys. I'm not doing math. I refuse to do math. Instead, I'm going to see if I could brute force this later. Because I genuinely don't feel like this. MHLFR, welcome in. How's it going? So this fence is ready. Although we're going to want the 2 variations of the fence, so that way they can kind of like look a little fancier. Doing good? What about you? Another day in paradise, you know, making games and all that good jazz. Happy to have you, though. Honestly, like, the reason I don't do this on my own, I'm not expecting to become famous or anything, but it's just like so fun to have people around when you're doing this kind of stuff. So nice to have you. All right. So we're going to want this to tile together so that we can place it in like a Super Mario Maker style. As we've mentioned over here, I have a system where you can lock things together, but we want to be able to do it with things that aren't just 1 square wide. So I'm setting up these like kind of fence tiles to do that. Because this manor, it needs a really fancy fence to guard it and to keep players from breaking out of the region. So that's the real reason. We're not doing this for decoration. We're doing this because I don't want to have to design areas outside of the manor. That would be scary. But okay, well, first thing we're gonna need to do actually is we need to give this guy colliders. Did I make the pixel art? So this game is being developed by a team of three people. Myself, I'm the head programmer. Musical Papyrus, he's the one of the artists, especially the character artist. He did all of these characters down here. He did the detective, who is our main character right here, and he did the Nostau right here. He's the fake sidekick at the start of the game. So responsible for the characters. And then we have a person named Abs who did the manor. She's an art student, as you could probably tell. I could not see myself designing this. And I don't really do much art, except for I did the interior of the manor, which I could probably show really quickly. Save. I did all of the floors and walls and the candles in this area. Yeah. Dude, thank you. We put a lot of work into this. This is kind of like a passion project. We're just like three kids who have jobs, lives, and whatever, but we decided randomly we wanted to make a game. And like, dude, it is so cool. We're actually going places with it, and I'm so happy because this isn't like a business thing. We're not like trying to make money out of it or anything. And that kind of makes it harder because you have to do it for fun, and it's hard to be disciplined when it's for fun. But like, this is so it's just coming together. Nice. I'm a solo dude. Awesome to have you. All right, do you use Unity as well? And if I ever stop talking for a minute just to keep on working on these fences, not that I don't care, just that I'm both like engaged with the chat and also uh, working on the project at the same time, so I need to kind of balance my focus in both ways. So, but yeah, are you a Unity developer? Yeah, dude. Well, Peak, maybe we could help each other out a little bit. I don't know what degree of experience you have. I'm kind of just improvising this whole thing, to be honest. I kind of just put stuff together, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, try again. So I always like it when Unity developers come on and they're like, "What the heck are you doing, dude? You should do this." And I'm like, "Oh wait, you're right." You know, it's funnily helpful. I don't know. To be honest, I kind of do that too. Well, yeah, dude. When it comes to game design, what no one tells you, especially about solo development, is really like it's so nice to have other people working with you because we're human. We don't have all of the experience and all of the wisdom, I guess, is the best way of putting it. But we have an infinite internet that has all the information we could ever ask for, and we have people who are passionate about the same things, you know? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's kept me going. If I had to do all of this art and whatever, I would have burned out on this project so long ago, man. I would actually have lost it. Because there's a graveyard of failed projects behind the games afoot that is just painful to think about. Okay, so our fences are actually ready to import into our tile map, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to put this into prefabs and put it into our tile map, see if that works. All right, so we're gonna throw this into the manor and the window and all this stuff, and just drag this in here. And I'm only gonna want these as prefabs since I'm just gonna basically be copying these a whole ton. And we're gonna have to edit the prefabs so that it actually aligns correctly here, because you can see like the bottom of this fence is it's halfway up the tile. That doesn't make sense. We want it to lock with the other tiles nicely. I had to empty out my graveyard a few days ago before my drive because my drive was full. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so real. Oh my gosh. I recently upgraded my computer so it's not as much of an issue, but like all of the playgrounds and all of the projects and all of that, they're from they're just like it's kind of scary how many I have, especially on my old laptop. It's like what's kind of cool though is if you look back into it and just like you know take a look at your old projects, whatever. It can be really cool sometimes, because like sometimes I'm just blown away by how good I was at game design before I learned all of this, And I mean, like, obviously I wasn't perfect. It's not like I was perfect, but like at the same time, There's a lot of cool stuff that came out of it. But also, dude, if you're at all interested, I have a Discord server connected to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to like gather together a bunch of creatives and also people who are interested in this project, but like kind of either or, and we kind of just like share our projects, share art, share whatever. Um, Still a developing community, but if you want anywhere to like kind of ask for playtesters or like show off some of your progress, as long as it's safe for work and everything, totally feel free to come hang. All right, and so I think I actually have to edit the bottom of these tiles somewhere else, which is unfortunate. I think it's in the tile maps over here. Yes, here it is. Manor tiles. Yes, we found it, guys. Let's go. And so now we get to just like kind of drag this down, and it will lock perfectly. And wouldn't you know it, well, actually, these aren't the tiles that we're looking for. These aren't the tiles you're looking for. That's right, Star Wars reference on stream, guys. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to create a layer called, or a tile map layer called default, which is kind of where we have the player and all the stuff you could collide with. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not allowed to join on Discord right now, but once I'm back on, then I'll definitely join. Hey, no worries, dude. In any case, it's awesome to have you. Also, do you do 3D or 2D development? Kind of a random question because I mean I know that they're like two totally different ballparks. Recently I've gotten into like Blender and 3D stuff, and it's pretty cool, but like both. Oh my gosh, dude, we're dealing with a pro here. And so this is going to be the layer that the player kind of collides with here. So we're going to want a tile map collider. And I'm not actually going to name this default. Let's name it walls, because that makes more sense for what it actually does. And we're going to want that to be composite, so we need a composite collider. So that way everything makes sense. It doesn't like cause anything weird. I don't know how to put it, but like maybe I could visualize it. Let's do that. So I'm just gonna place down some fences here on our walls layer, assuming it will let me. Surely. Surely. Please. Unity, please, no. What are you doing? Please. No. What did I do? What did I do? I've made a few platformer games, and my main project is a Metroidvania, but I've dabbled in 3D, and my only game that's ever gotten a demo was 3D. Dude, I kind of want to ask for the itch. I mean, I know I should be focused, right? But, like, I don't know, maybe that'd be cool. But Metroidvanias are peak, dude. I have a question. I kind of been meaning to ask this for a while. I've never, like, really been seriously into Metroidvanias as a primary genre. I'm addicted to RPGs myself, more so. So, like, I'm kind of curious, would Hollow Knight be considered to be a Metroidvania? Because I know, like, the original Metroid game, it's not exactly the same, but it has kind of a similar vibe. I don't know. I don't really know the definitions or whatever for all of this stuff. So, might just be shooting in the dark there. I have a link in my bio. After stream, I'll make sure to totally take a look at it. Leave some, and it's itch, right? Itch.io. All right, guys, I am so confused. Hollow Knight and Silksong are definitely Metroidvanias. Let's go. In that case, I really like the Metroidvanias. Just the idea of a semi-open world, like, platformer thing going on. It's a cool genre. It's a cool genre. For some reason, the we're not able to use these in our tile palette, the fences. And I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. Because if you look here, we did something with this so that it was able to lock correctly onto the tile map. But we need to do the same thing with our fence tiles. So I don't know. Let's look into our tiles and get our fence again. Well, actually, not the tiles. We want the prefabs. Dude, the tragic part about streaming game design is I know that I'm going to be speaking a foreign language for half the stream that no one is going to understand. And I kind of just have to be partially okay with it. I don't know. It's like, oh, maybe I can move this from here. Metroidvanias are non-linear games where you explore and collect keys that unlock different areas in gameplay. I'm hooked on non-linear already. I'm really into like again, I've said I'm into RPG games. One of the primary games that got me into the genre is Undertale. And I before you call me basic, before you say it, it's a pretty peak game. If you haven't played it and haven't had it spoiled, please play it. But like the idea though of gameplay that changes depending on what path you take, I think it's a lot more interesting than games that don't do that. And the only reason that I'm not way into doing that myself is because the amount of work it takes to create a non-linear game, especially story-wise, is unfathomable. It's just ugh. But I guess Metroidvanias are different though because they're not. And this isn't a total rule. I'm sure there are Metroidvanias that are very story-driven, like for sure. But like from my understanding, especially with like the Silksong Hollow Knight games, it seems like it's more gameplay elements that um kind of change the areas you're able to access, I guess. It's non-linear in the sense that the gameplay affects where you can go, not necessarily story elements. So yeah, I love writing and I love lore. I do too, dude. Okay, so like here's the thing about game design, right? I'm a good game designer, arguably. If you would like to correct me on that, please do. Constructive criticism is always welcome. But like I only got into this element of game design because I want to be able to communicate funny stories and like just good experiences to people, and that especially like the writing and the lore though, because like games have a crazy ability to make super immersive stories and people just don't cash in on that enough, you know. And of course you have to be into the technical stuff to actually tap into it, but like I don't know. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing wrong, guys. So I think we actually have to create tiles for these objects before we could use them. So let's do that. So like my passion project, this isn't like my passion project entirely. This is a game I'm doing with friends because I enjoy working with my friends. It's just fun. But like my passion project is entirely a story-driven RPG game. It's gonna have like fun combat and whatever, but the idea is that you're following a story where it's partially non-linear, but like also you can make decisions that really affect your relationships with other characters and whatever that seriously affect like disasters that can happen or not happen. And it's like RPG game in a sense, but like it's a lot more serious because I feel like most of the time NPC interactions are just like, oh, they talk to you, they give you quest, you do the quest, good, you get money, and like okay, that's fine. But like, what if they were actually treated as more significant people? And I'm not like talking Undertale either because Undertale took an approach of like doing that to the enemies specifically. I'm talking like I don't know something. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet because I know the story behind it. I know the story. I don't know. Maybe it would be just good to share. Let me fix this tile set really quick and then I'll share a little bit about it. So we're going to create some tiles here. And guys, I'm getting some notifications on my side that the video quality might be dropping slightly. So if you're experiencing problems on that end, I'm so sorry. Hopefully it will smooth itself out soon. So we're going to go to 2D tiles and we're going to create, I'm not exactly which tile would be used for a game object. Let's do rule tile. Let's see if that works. It says, okay, so it has game object. There we go. That works. And we're going to name this into fence 1. Video quality is fine with me. Awesome. Good to hear it. And now I'm going to go into tiles and we're going to create another rule tile for our fence 2. Because I don't think that the game is able to handle direct game objects as tiles. unless you use this. So we're gonna go ahead and work with it. So, and now I'm just gonna drag and drop these. And the problem is it's not actually going to show us how this fits because there's no preview. So we're basically just gonna have to improvise it, I guess. So I'm gonna test this. And it's still lifted up a tile. I really don't like that. Like, you see how on the grid it's halfway up? That is wrong. There's no single indie or just RPG game in general where this is a thing. Okay, and I'm gonna try to offsetting it here. It doesn't do anything. Is there a way for us to offset it over here? I don't think so. So unfortunately, guys, I think that I have to just do what I should have done in the first place and change the pivot point instead of trying to do a shortcut. Tragically enough. Ugh. What's hard with Unity is it's hard to decide where you need to do a shortcut and where you need to just do it the way you're supposed to, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but like there's a lot of stuff that you could streamline and there's a lot of stuff that you really shouldn't streamline. But yeah, I'm just a little bummed by that. I wish that I could just change the game object itself. Oh well. Oh well. Let me just find where this asset is. So we got it from the art, I want to say, and tiles. So we're going to go into the sprite editor, and instead of doing a normalized pivot, we're going to do a pixels pivot and customize it. And we're going to go 16 pixels up because that's exactly one, like it's the middle of the first unit up there. And sorting should be just fine. Yeah, same. Yeah, dude. Now we're going to do the same thing with this fence pillar. And I'm going to learn my lesson from this because I feel like, I don't know, the more games that I make and fail, the more I kind of realize like what kind of needs to happen in order to make a quality Unity game, I guess. I don't know. Because like if you make enough mistakes in one area, it tends to help you in the future. So we're going to get all of this set up. All right. Getting some random text from my side. Sorry about the text tone if you could hear it. That's Navi from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's not exactly one of my key references in this game. I feel like this game takes a lot more from like Paper Mario and Zelda than it does from Ocarina of Time. And by Zelda, I mean classic Zelda. I could probably show you what I mean by that here really quick. Inside of the manor, we have some custom logic that we set up for our rooms. And this is because I didn't want to hard code like different scenes for every single room. But we have a camera system here where basically, and a cutscene's going to play, we'll just get that over with really quick. Basically, it locks the camera to different rooms if you walk into those said rooms. And that's a Zelda reference, I think, because like Zelda was like the first game that like had that custom room logic. And so I don't know. I really like that. I felt like I didn't want to make a new scene for ignore that. Ignore that. I didn't want to make a different scene though for every single room. I felt like it could be simplified a lot more. So this is more of a classic Zelda thing than an Ocarina of Time thing, because Ocarina of Time is more like a 3D take on Zelda. Well, duh, it's 3D, but like also the rooms were not exactly boxy. They were like much more stylized, I feel like. So yeah. So the next step for getting these fences to work is fixing the colliders on the prefabs. And we're going to find that over here. The collider is kind of like set up to be a little bit higher now that we've changed the position of the board. So all that I think that we have to do is offset it a little bit on its y-axis, the collider and save that. And another thing is we're going to want to have our pivot sorting point be on the pivot. And we're going to do the same thing over here on this fence. We're going to move the offset down, save, and we're going to set the pivot point to be on pivot. And now, when I place these guys down, they should be perfectly locked. So I'm going to we're going to assume the fence is yay wide. Actually, let's move that a little bit. I'm just going to erase these. If this is the center and it's 3 wide, we could pull it down. And I'm going to say the gate is a little bit wider than that. So we're going to put this maybe right here. And we're going to put this right here. Actually move this one over a little bit. And this is the fun part. This is where after everything gets working, you could kind of customize and make it look the way you want. And it's so fun once you get the base systems going and you could just and I feel like every once in a while these should be broken by another pillar. And this is just going to go till infinity basically. Because eventually we'll have a tree line. What did I do? Wait, what? Have any of you guys seen that before? Uh, what did I do? Oh gosh, that's oh my gosh. Uh, okay, I guess we're filing a bug report now. Crash after placing way too many placing spelled with a G. Dragon Skies placing is spelled with a G. Far too many rule tiles with game objects. Dude, no, you haven't? Oh my gosh. I don't know whether to think that's cool or annoying, because I feel like that's the first time I've ever had that happen. Crash after placing far too many rule tiles with game objects attached. And I feel like that's enough. Use the tile map area fill tool with far too many rule tiles with game objects attached. Okay, how often does it happen? This is the first time. Okay. And we're done. That is so random. That's wild. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna get back to reopening the project, I feel like. Hopefully it didn't crash anything. It has backups, so that's good. We'll use those. I hope that wasn't permanent, though, because I'm not used to crashing my computer. Usually my brother, who helps me playtest, is the one who crashes my games, not me. I don't do that. So let's see what we're left with. What happened here? So it looks like these tiles have been deleted somehow. That is so weird, guys. Should we try and replicate it? See if it is repetitive? I mean, I don't think so, actually, because if we end up doing that, it would just be annoying, I guess, to have to reopen everything again. We're here and we're working. Let's just work on it. So when it comes to these pillars, I want them to kind of be spaced the same. So let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 between every single one of them. And this is our pillar. Here's this. And now we have kind of like a fence going. Yes, is that yes to replicating it? Okay, yeah, no. I'm not. I feel like it was funny, but maybe not the best thing to do twice, you know? Out of curiosity, what happens if we stack these? It looks a little bit weird because you could see these parts like jutting out from the side. I don't really like that. So we're just going to leave this as it is. And I think we're also going to redo the floor a little bit, switching to our tile map here. I think we don't want this gravel to look like that. Instead, let's do like, for now, I'm just going to simplify it way down and do like a path that leads out here. And then maybe like gravel to signify a road. Because like this is like a Victorian England scenario. We'll probably have like horseless carriages going on. The cat 5225, welcome in. How's it going? We have successfully crashed our game, and I blame the moose. That's an inside joke for anyone who is not aware. I'm here for once. Good to have you, dude. I have an idea. What if we do this? Okay, actually, I'm realizing we don't actually have a single path tile, so we're going to have to put some limits on our Mario Maker madness. And maybe, I feel like let's not make it too perfect. Because this place is supposed to be, like, a little bit, like, downtrodden. So, like, I'm going to put some of these tiles here. Really good, and I made concept art for Chris. Dude, cool. Hope to see it and share your stuff soon. Or hashtag share your stuff. I don't know how you're supposed to put that. And we're going to get rid of this side road now that I think about it, because with there's going to be a chasm behind this building that the main character falls into, and it doesn't make sense that there would really be a path leading there, to be honest. I would imagine that there would just be more like undergrowth surrounding either side of the building. So we're going to leave that. But like at the same time, I kind of hate how much grass there is here. I don't know if you guys would agree, but just like it feels really like blank and empty. I also made the art for the anatomy of my dragons. Dude, as a dragon addict, let's go. I'm always down for that kind of. Actually, lately I've been doing a lot of work on that kind of stuff. I'm getting into Blender, and I'm trying to make a. I'm wanting to make a dragon character that is in the style of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and is fully rigged and ready for animation. It's kind of like a for fun project that I'm doing on the side of the games afoot. I kind of just felt like it, to be honest. You saw? Really? Did I share that? Oh, you probably saw it on pixel art. Okay. Cool. But I'm really excited about that. Blender is hard, but like I'm really happy to be working on it. I feel like there's a lot of really cool stuff with it too. Okay, so this is probably fine for now. I really want to make this space feel a little more decorated though. So kind of just to let's test the functionality of the fences really quick. And then wait. Okay, cool. We're good. So one thing that I'm noticing right off the blat, the bat is it's weird that there is a hinge right here. I love Blender, dude. It is so cool. I thought I would hate 3D art because I'm a 2D game designer, right? I was like fully convinced, like no way, Blender, too much of a learning curve. But now that I'm getting into it, and now that I'm kind of starting to enjoy it, oh my gosh, it is so fun. How did I miss it? You know? So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So we're going to do that is totally the incorrect command. We're going to do a screenshot, and I'm going to share that with our abs who did the art for these gates and basically say, hey, can you take off this weird trimming on the side and also like give me like a gate here? So I feel like after that, this will make a lot more sense. Dude, I really like this section of the game. There's also coffee hidden here. All of our items are based off of coffee because we're all college age kids who are coffee addicts. Not really. I could stop drinking coffee. I just won't, you know? So you could get these items, and they all have their own different purposes. Uh, in combat, the blended coffee kind of restores mana and health, which the combat system isn't robust enough for that to really be useful at this point. But uh, I could probably demonstrate it. But even right now, though, I could use it. I could throw it away, and yeah. Ideally, the inventory also kind of has a flavor text that says you're poor if you don't have any money, which I don't. I do have money. I can't really show that right now because there's no actual access to the shop screen yet, but at some point, hopefully. I really like this line. I really like this line. No, I actually found you at your house in your sleep and looked through your computer. Oh my gosh, dude. No, why? Why have I already been doxxed? I'll describe the clothing of my dragons. This is a green V-neck and khaki jeans, or however you pronounce it. And I want to talk about the shoes. I haven't figured out shoe colors. Shoe colors are something else. Like Sans, for example. No one knows Sans' shoe colors. It's just not a thing. Oh, we got to make sure the partner spawns next to you. I'm feeling so happy about this, dudes. We have some cool stuff going on. This is an unfinished part. These goons. This guy is named Carl right here. Carl's in the black suit, and he's kind of like the ringleader here of the goons. And then there's these two guys, not Carl 1 and not Carl 2, who we named very creatively, as you can tell. And they're kind of like the sidekicks for this guy, and they were hired to stop the detective from getting this gem back. That's why he's here. And this cutscene, they're playing pool, and then they walk in on them, and they weren't even looking for them or ready to beat them up. That these guys are really just buffoons, and I'm really looking forward to have a little bit of comedy there. But yeah, peak art, dude. I can't take credit for it. At least not all of it. I did a little bit of it, but like honestly, it's just the team, dude. I am so blessed to have these guys working with me. There's Musical Papyrus. He's responsible for like all of our characters. And then there's Abs, who's kept responsible for all of like the manor basically, except for a little bit of the inside, which I did. And like, dude, they are so gifted, and like, it makes it so much easier on me to like be able to just be like, hey guys, I need this. Can you help me out with that? And well, guess what? They're and ready to help with it, and it's like so nice because now I could just worry about the confusing stuff that programmers have to worry about instead of all of it, you know? So here's what we're doing next. We're going to add some cobwebs to the manor because that's something else that Ab sent in with our last art update. So I'm going to put that in the art folder really quick. Manor. And we're just going to put this in decor. And with the decor, we're going to want to throw all of these into the folder. And with these cobwebs, I think it's going to be pretty simple since they have no colliders. It's just deciding which ones should be on the top and which ones should be on the bottom, I guess, of the player. Like if they should be above or below. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go into Manor because these are the our Manor tile set here. And we're going to get all of these cobwebs ready for importing. Dude, the Minecraft soundtrack is so chill. Like, so I'm into RPG games and everything, but like if I need to relax or whatever, the Minecraft soundtrack is the way to go. It is most definitely the way to go. Susie has a lavender shirt and a gray wavy dress shirt. Dude, like honestly, you could describe it in the chat. Just send it and share your stuff. Like I would love to see it, you know? Also, I can't hear the music. Okay, I'm checking stream. Let's see. This whole time? Oh my gosh. Alright, so I fixed the music. Is this a good volume? I'm going to... I've only drawn Chris. Dude, share it still. I love seeing what y'all are up to when it comes to creating your own stuff. So we're going to take all of these and make them into tiles. I'm going to start with this floor cobweb. And we're going to put it inside of asset, art, manner, decor. Yes. And everything is meant to show that this place is extremely, like, beat up and whatever. Okay, that's a problem. When I import this, it shows that this cobweb is on the side. We can't have that. All right, so we're going to have to change a couple of things with that, but at this point, I feel like this is such a small change that I'm just going to do it on my own. Since I do have Asebright installed, I can do pixel art if I need to. So we're going to just open all of these inside of Asebright. So this is correct. This is exactly 32 by 32. So we're going to keep that. I'm going to go into this one, and I want to open it with Asebright. So we're going to show and explore, and hop in here, open with Asebright. And I'm going to skip. And it looks like this one is also hinging on the side. And is it 32? It is exactly 32. So this should be working as well. Should, again, not is working. And now we're going to open this. Lucifer has a pretty complex design, wearing a dirty gray shirt with a black vest over, ripped jeans, you know the look, and boots. And Marty's blue, censored for spoilers, flower with a face. Okay. Ripped jeans and black vest over. Sounds edgy. So we're going to skip this. And, okay, this doesn't make sense because I'm kind of confused. So we're going to... These tile should be importing correctly. Let's try this. Okay, so that kind of put it on the opposite side. Let's do the other way. So they'll be top right. I won't say the flowers, it may reveal a lot about Marty. Is this a Flowey reference? Is this a Flowey reference, my guy? I think this is a Flowey reference. Also, dudes, I am so excited. I'm going to be making a YouTube video very soon about the designing of the 3D dragon character. It's kind of in the works. I've been recording a lot of footage for it and doodling a lot of the characters for it, so I am so excited to share that. Yesn't. Dude. Maybe this will work. There being a talking flower, is very flowy, yeah. I think I have an idea to get these cobwebs to work. If I set the pivot to the center. But I can guarantee he isn't a, you know, a dreamer. Man, me publicly spoiling me publicly spoiling sorry, I'm trying to find the center. Here we are. Me publicly spoiling Undertale during streams because I want to have, well, I don't know. Actually, that seems like a terrible idea when it comes to retaining fans now that I think about it. Oh, also, can you guys see the chat right now? I'm kind of like, I'm looking on the stream right now, and it doesn't look like I can see that. I'm not going to be able to fix it during this stream, but that's just good to know for future ones. I don't know. I'm wanting to actually fix up my widgets and make them really nice. Oh my gosh, what happened to that? What in the world is going on with that? Okay. So, I'm not going to get rid of that widget, but I think that it needs a test or two. I'm just going to keep on talking about jazz until we get the now playing widget fixed, because that is the most distracting thing I've ever seen. Also, you missed Fluffy. Who's Fluffy? Streaming is an entirely different ballpark, y'all. Like, so I'm used to, like, mostly working on my own, but a big problem with that is streaming is that there's a lot of experience when it comes to streaming that isn't actually related to the game design itself. There's a lot of it is actually related to like getting a lot of technical stuff to work in the background, and I mean that's hard for me because I'm more into like I could talk to people really well. I'm not as good at like marketing, presentation, whatever. Like I just straight up am here to have fun and enjoy game design, enjoy conversation, enjoy that kind of stuff. So all of this technical streaming stuff is pretty new to me actually. I think I need to fix my rig pretty soon when it comes to the game design stuff. So for the time being, sorry if this is confusing and weird for y'all, but thanks for bearing with me. So we're going to create a layer here called decor that I'm going to put here because we already have an overhead. And for the decor, I'm going to put this cobweb right here. And maybe like have one over like, ooh, this is a bit weird. Do you guys see this? It doesn't quite align with the top of the ceiling here. It's a little bit concerning. Well, I'm just going to do what I can with what we got now. Okay, so I kind of like having that web in the lower corners. And on the sides like that. And maybe this could go like right here. Fluffy wears a green or blue. Oh my gosh, dude, that is so distracting. Well, I'm going to try and downsize it. The music disc widget. I don't want that to be like in the middle like that. It's kind of distracting for me too, which is not good. You know, when it comes to game design stuff, it's really all about just like having it. Like streaming should never be something that brings an expense to the game design, I guess. Like if I'm sharing this, the point is still that I'm making a game, right? Like, and anything that takes away from that can be harmful. What the heck happened to the player? Oh my gosh. No. What? What happened? They've turned into blocks. No. Oh no. Okay, you know what? We're restarting the scene. Surely it will fix itself. Oh, good. The block curse has been defeated. He became a box. I know. What in the world? Our protagonist was cursed to forever become a box. Okay, so the Mies did it. Real. So there's an ongoing joke from one of my past streams where we had this enemy here, the moose, and his attacks he was our first enemy, our test enemy, and his attacks were so ridiculously overpowered because of some bugs that he became my mortal enemy. The herd of Mies, yes, very much so. So yeah, no, I might make a moose into a mini boss at some point. and bring no context whatsoever for my irrational hatred of them. Dude. I love the random ideas that come out of like having people on the stream with me and just like doing dumb stuff. What in the world? Why is it still that large? I downsized it. Okay, we're fixing that. But having people around the Lord. Oh my gosh. MHLFR, the Herd of Meese. I misread that. I saw the Lord of Meese. I saw the Lord of Meese. I might have to drop everything and come up with a character idea for that, because that sounds glorious. Oh my gosh. Should we design the Lord of Meese? I feel like that could be hilarious. Okay, hold on. I'm going in. We're going in to open up our enemy here. So I'm gonna open the moose enemy here, and we're gonna create a version over here, another version. And I feel like what we are gonna do is we're just gonna slightly. You know what? No, even better idea. I'm gonna ask Musical Papyrus about it. Mini boss idea. Were we not just talking about staying focused all? I'm terrible at staying focused. I do apologize. Another thing is, a lot of the charm that our game has is from being spontaneous. I could show you a lot of stuff for that. Let me throw this into here. A lot of the charm of our game comes from being very spontaneous. And there's a balance, right? Because like with games, like you should be allowed to be wild, to have fun with it. But you should not be allowed to ruin your focus by doing so. Does that kind of make sense? So like when it comes to me, I'm at risk of doing it both ways. Either I get too focused and bored and do nothing, or I get too distracted and do nothing. I don't know. I need to leave now. All right, see you, the cat. Good to have you. I'll keep you posted on the new moose enemy. But like, another thing is, okay, well, you know what? Where I'm going with this is, if the game developer doesn't have fun making the game, how could anyone have fun playing the game, right? And so when a random idea like that comes up, to have a freaking moose that antagonizes the player. I mean, of course I'll fit it in the lore somehow, but like, that's a reference to like the streams. That's a reference to like something that was really funny. That was a reference to something that I really got to enjoy. So like, I think that there's a lot of value in having that in the game on a serious note, I guess. And of course I need to take that with a grain of salt. You're totally right with the focus thing. If this was something where I just like dropped everything, it could be a huge problem, but makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. We have a problem. I want this decor to be actually over the floor, but below the player. So let's change the layer of this tile map to be layer 2. But no, but layer 2 will still be over the player. I have a better idea. Maybe we do it so it's on the same layer as the player. Exactly. Let's do that. See if this works. Put that there. And we'll start the game. You missed my comment about Susie being British. Oh, I did miss his comment about Susie being British. Oh well. Alright, so the cobwebs are kind of in place, and it will make them look better in the future, but they're here, which is the important thing. I kind of feel like we should have like a chest or something in here with items. And so I'm going to ask Abs, make a chest could be Victorian or fantasy, kinda ambiguous for items. So this is kind of like a half of what I do. Whenever I'm like in the game design process, I know what we need, so I tell them to get it ready. And it works really well. I don't know. So, and all that time that they're working on making those things and getting them ready. Oh my gosh, I need to fix that music display, guys. Oh my gosh. Alright, after this, guys, we are probably going to do a test stream to figure all this out, but because OBS does not want to work with me here. Okay, so we got the cobwebs done. I'll add some more to this room to kind of like spice it up. And then afterwards, I think the last thing that we're going to do today is kind of revisit our combat system a little bit and see what needs to be improved, kind of fixed from its original stage, I guess. I'm making a small horror game. It's about going crazy from being alone. Dude, sounds edgy. And it's one of your 3D projects or 2D on that end? I think maybe let's try doing this overhead. I guess that works. Alright. Stories that you get trapped in the forest after a giant storm in Lockside and trying to save other trapped people. It's 3D. Sounds like it could be interesting, especially since it has a premise that's a little more interesting than just a jump scare simulator. Okay, really quickly, I'm going to recommend someone to, if you haven't heard of him, take a look at Artindi. I'll make sure to post it in the chat, kind of like how you spell that. And he's a really cool creator who does videos on every single game genre, what makes them work, what doesn't make them work, and he's really funny too. So when I said, like, I'm glad that it has a premise beyond being a jump scare simulator, I think that when it comes to horror, it can be done really well. It can also be done really poorly. And the difference between a good horror game and a bad one is the premise. If there is no premise, or if the premise is simply like a jump scare simulator, like I said before, then it's not going to land very well, because you can find a lot of those on itch, to be honest. But, like, what fascinates me is horror games where you find, like, there's layers of depth beyond just the horror of the moment, I guess. So I like the idea of the being stuck in a forest saving people, because there's, like, already an urgency to that, you know? There's already an edge to that that goes beyond, like, the sheer functionality of the game, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Ending spoilers are fine. I personally can't really handle horror very well. Confession on my side. The only indie game designer who admires it from a distance. But, like, I'm always down to get a little bit of a spoiler ending, especially. Because I have a feeling, especially if it's a horror game, unless you're going for, like, a horror game that has, like, very simple, like, stuff that would actually be in a forest, like wolves and bears and whatever, probably gets a little wild. I would imagine. I don't know. Although I could see it working either way, to be fair. I think there's something to be said for horror games that are horrifying despite being technically pretty normal stuff. And by normal, I don't mean safe. Like, I mean, like, definitely, like, freaky stuff. But, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of ranting at this point. Very distracting stuff, but... Okay. Let's go back to the regular manor floor. And I'm going to go ahead and get this moose fight going. Well, actually, we could just start it from the combat. Alright, so the ending is that no one else is trapped. You just started to think that other people is trapped. There's like two endings I want. One where you get rescued and one where you don't make it. That's interesting, and it kind of establishes like a little bit of a background to the game, I guess. Like, because, like, how did you get to that point? It's like the first question that I, as a player, would be thinking, right? Like, how did you, the character, get into a point where you are crazy enough to think, like, that there are other people out there? Like, what happened? You know? And that's good, because the thing that makes horror is the questions, you know? Why is it like this? What is going on? And when that realization of the unspoken question becomes more powerful, that's where it starts settling, you know? Dude, I'm so weird because I can enjoy horror. I don't play it very much as a genre. I don't like it very much on a gameplay perspective, but I love the depth of storytelling that it has, you know? Yes. Yes, for sure. All right, so we're going to go to World Zero Combat. So let's take a look at this old system from probably half a year ago. Let's see if it works. Let's see if I could even still stand it. So let's see. So we have two mooses by default inside of our combat. For some reason, it's the attack is named Shoryuken, even though there's no way that is going to make it to the final game. And there is a huge problem here. Low-key, the giant music thing is hilarious. I'll keep it for now. I don't know, as long as it's not extremely distracting. So, the first major problem that I see is that when we're fighting our enemies, right? It is pretty funny, actually. Oh my gosh, bruh. This is what is going to separate me from every other YouTuber. This wild, wild, oh my gosh, this wild music widget. So the first problem, after the game ends, do you see this? You win. It doesn't focus back on the player and the partners. It stays there in this really ugly view. I'm going to fix that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my scripts and kind of hard code it to change things up a little bit. So this is going to be the player win state. Gotta really credit the artist, you know? No kidding. Low key, though. Low key. Game Chops has some of the best focus game design music I've ever heard of. It's bottled nostalgia with a little bit of lo-fi. You could focus with it. Or if you like electronic, that's a thing too that you could do. And it just is so cool. Alright, so the problem is when we get into resolve combat, we want the camera target manager to focus on the front row transform, and it doesn't do that for some reason. So is there a problem? Point is, Game Chops is awesome. Look into them. Like, seriously. If you haven't heard of them so far, Game Chops is wildly cool. They're creative. They pocket nostalgia for you. And it kind of helps me to also like think about my references. Think about the games that inspired me. So, it's the way to go. Oh, little detail that I absolutely love in our inventory system right here. If you go into your inventory and you have nothing, this flavor text appears. I intend to totally roast every single player I can and leave as many Easter eggs in there so that when the artists play through it, without context, they get all of this wild stuff. So we're going to block, attack, and what's the error reference it's throwing us? The object you want to instantiate is null. That can't be right. That can't be right at all. Check, share your stuff. Alright, I'll hop on the Discord server shortly. I need to fix this first. So, the one problem I could think of is that the camera is set to the wrong mode. Because our camera, it has two modes. It has a follow mode and it has an idle mode. When it's set to follow, it will follow a specific game object or move to a specific position, depending on which version I want for that. And when it's idle, it will just stay where it is. So there's a chance that our main camera is set to idle, which would be a reason why it would stop working. So we're going to find our camera manager. Is it in the manager scene? It's not. So we're going to check over here. Camera target manager, follow. Okay, so let's go ahead and enter debug mode and see what it's thinking behind the scenes. So it's current target, active target, script, follow, initial target, none. Follow target is the player. Okay, but like if the target is the player, why is it over here? That can't be right. Okay, we're gonna go double check something else here. What is the speed of the camera? Because if it's moving at a 0 speed, it won't actually be going to the player. So let's go into the camera target. Actually, to the game camera. And follow offset, position dampening. Unity's confusing me. This is not good, guys. This is not good at all. Well, let's see what this is doing. Unit stats equals instantiate reference stats. So basically it's complaining that it doesn't have any stats for the base enemies. That's fine for now. That's not what we're trying to fix. I put the anatomy and Chris in my server, then forwarded. Okay. Dude, I'll take a look at it shortly. Oh, Unity. What are you doing? Why are you not cooperating? I just want to make you work. You could be so cool. But instead, you're just being annoying. It's the mooses, guys, for real. They're doing this. They won't let me have the satisfaction of this victory. Okay, so I'm just going to follow the camera target here and see what it's thinking while we're in the gameplay. So its current follow target is nothing. If I press attack, sure you can. The Misa and friend are working together. Who's friend? Wait, guys, hold on. I might have figured out something. It doesn't have a follow target right now. You know what that means? It means that it's not using a transform to find its location. It's not going to the moose. It's going to the moose's position. So when I tell it to go to the player, it's not going to listen. It needs to go to the player's position. Your device friend? Is this a reference to something that I'm missing? I think it's a reference to something that I'm missing, which is wild, because I know a lot of references, guys. So let's change gears then. If that's the problem, then the solution is to move the camera to a position rather than to the player himself. So let's see, what functions do we have? I totally forgot the base functions of my camera manager. What do I tend to make references to? Undertale, Toby Fox, Deltarune, all of those guys. Set camera position. Let's try this. Wait, is that the friend inside me theory? Oh my gosh, dude, no. No, I use this channel to escape from the wild Deltarune theories, not to propagate them. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Ah, this guy. Oh, really random lore point here. These mooses canonically have a New Yorkian accent. Guys, it worked. Let's go, let's go. Okay, so now we just got to make it so that it hovers a little bit. So then we're going to add vector2 dot up. What's it complaining about? It wants a vector 3. I mean, I theorize that Rousey is a mint and Chris is a... What? That's wild. Okay, well, I think that Sans is actually Ness from Earthbound, so there's that. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Alright, so once we finish this fight, and that there's multiple knights, I could get behind that one. That might make sense. So that friend may not be evil. Is friend supposed to be the player in this scenario? I should not be getting distracted by Undertale references. What is this? Give me 1 second. I'm going to focus on the game design for a bit. Okay, this looks better, but we're going to want it actually to be vector 2 times 2. We want it to go up a little bit further. Alright, so let's do one final test on this point. Ideally, the game is going to let me finish the combat, and then afterwards, it's going to show the camera over the player in a way where you can fully see him. So let's go ahead and block this. Punch. Let's go. That looks pretty good. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to make this customizable. We're going to do a serialized field, private, float, and no thank you, OneDrive. And what are you doing, OneDrive? I'm not focused on you right now. I'm focused on game design. What is this? And we're going to do celebration camera Y offset. Did anyone else see that? That is incredibly weird, actually. And we're going to set it equal to 2.5 by default. And now we're going to make it to go celebration camera Y offset. No, the cat thing from Ralsei's explanation in chapter 3. I do not remember that, unfortunately. It's been a while since I've actually been hardcore into... I actually did start a new Undertale run recently, because I've just wanted to see the nostalgia and get inspired again. But it's been a while since I've been, like, really hardcore into any game... Wait, what? You why? Wait, what? Chat, am I missing something? Hang on, what? God, I need to leave again. Okay, no worries. See you, cat. Oh my gosh, what? Is it actually... Okay, no. It's not. That's fine. It's not. Bye again, real. Here's something else funny that we can do here. We're going to go to the player win state. And we can change the win messages to whatever we want per combat. So I'm kind of tempted. I feel like this could be a really funny opportunity. But I would want it to be some sort of a reference or something clever, you know? I don't know. I don't know. We can change it, though, is the point. Like, let's say I wanted the game to say, my grandma could punch harder than you. And if I add more of these items to the list, I could also make it so that it kind of selects a random one. So there could be multiple win messages, which I think could be really cool. One last thing, I was thinking about something you said in an earlier stream, and I think it could be fun if you did an Undertale lore playthrough. That could be fun. I don't know. I would love to share a little bit about Undertale, why I like it, why it's a good example of a good RPG game, whatever. Uh, I don't know. Well, honestly, I am starting a run right now, so maybe I could do a stream for that. And chat, here it is. My magnum opus. Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? What is this? Not the point. I'm gonna leave it at you win for now. But what would be really funny is if we like added 200 elements to that list with one of them being something totally wild. And so basically, I'm just gonna set this to 200. Maybe like one of them could be mission accomplished to reference Star Fox. And so, and what other game references could we do here? I don't know. Let's see. What games am I really into right now? That's a better question here. I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of... Why do I have so many windows open? What in the world? Oh my gosh. Okay, we're good. So there's Balatro. It doesn't really have a very distinct win message. Hi-Fi Rush, not really. Stardew Valley, not really. Yummy Hustle, really cool game, no win message. Among Us... Among Us would be wild, but I think it would also be kind of basic. Hollow Knight, I don't know. We'll keep mission accomplished. But what else, guys? I don't know, because I don't know. This isn't the most important detail, so I can come back to this, and I think I will. But like, if anyone gets epic background, okay, yeah, dude, no kidding. I love Zelda Breath of the Wild. But something I would like to mention, I did not make this background. It was a guy named Jeremy Fensk art. If you think it's cool, please look him up. I don't mean to take any credit for that, but like I absolutely love the art style of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Ocarina of Time. I love the toon shaders. I love the cell shading and like the kind of slightly anime style. It is just so cool. I love the combat. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the atmosphere. It is just the coolest game. And when I got it when I was younger during Christmas, it was like the coolest thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, kind of random, but like it's also cool, dudes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop back into our combat one last time, and I'm just going to think through what else we need to accomplish here. So I have a quick time reaction for punching, but I don't have a quick time reaction for blocking, and that's a problem. We're gonna need both in order to make this work. There it is. So the problem of not being able to block is serious. Because we need it to be able to have that happen. And also another problem is that the enemies should line up with the player. So, but before we do anything else, how long has this stream been going for? I usually shoot for like 90 minutes. Let's double check this really quick. Because I don't like to burn out very much on game design. That's like more of a risk, I think, than even like not having enough experience or needing to learn stuff or whatever. Like, it's like if you put too much into a game, it can be rough on you. So here's me just like casually looking up a bunch of stuff on my side as I'm supposed to be talking about all the crazy stuff I'm doing. Don't worry, guys. Trust me. I am a good streamer. I am a good streamer. Nah. All right. Hopping off. I have no idea how long we've been going on, but I'm gonna hop off pretty soon. We're just gonna get back on it though. So, as far as getting this combat to work the way we want it to, we have an input icon library, which is kind of like a singleton here that has all of our buttons ready. Now, there are two hard things about this. We need to make sure the buttons are in a good place for a given circumstance, right? Because like if I'm trying to block at a certain location or in a certain way, maybe the button should be right here next to the player, or maybe it should be over on the far side. See you, MHLFR. It was great having you. So, I think we need a way to move the offense button and move the defense button so that it goes in the right place. Also, if you want to catch me later on more streams, it would be great to have you. Please consider following. I'm not really doing this project for like attention or anything crazy, but like it was awesome having you, and I would love to keep on staying connected after this. In either case, I'm following you if you have a YouTube channel. I don't know if that's a thing, but like it's awesome meeting cool creators. Cool, done. All right, so getting back onto the topic of this project, we're going to want a way to set button position. And we're going to do offense and defense. Both of these buttons, and that way the scripts could kind of like have a little bit of control over that during animations. Now let's get rid of this script down here, and we're going to create brackets around here. So when it comes to the offense button defense position, we're going to want both of these to take a vector 2 position that they can move the buttons to. And after I set up these buttons, I think I'm going to be done for the day, just because I'm a little worn out from life stuff. So our offense button transform position will be set to the position given there. And in this script, the defense button transform position will be set to the position given here. All right, guys, I'm calling it for the day. Thank you all for hopping on. If you enjoy this kind of content or just want to see more of the games afoot or more of wild game design stuff, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you on. Soon I'm going to be posting a video about some 3D modeling stuff I've been doing. That'll be really fun. And as always, we're hoping to get the games afoot out on like itch for testing or whatever. So yeah, please join our Discord if you want to be a part of testing. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And yeah, thank you all for dropping in. Talk to y'all later.